I just want to share this with you. 1 John chapter 3. See what an incredible quality of love the Father has given, shown, bestowed on us, that we should be permitted to be named and called and counted the children of God. And so we are. The reason that the world does not know or recognize us is that it does not know or recognize Him. All right. I like the King James here. He says, behold what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew Him not. Now, in 1 John chapter 4, it says more or less the same thing. It says in verse 8, he who does not love has not become acquainted with God, does not and never did know Him, for God is love. Okay, so He loved us so very much that He bestowed so much love upon us that we should be called the sons of God. Okay, so the word by which we are born again, that makes us sons of God, is the very love of Christ that is bestowed upon us. When we understand how much He loves us, we will understand who we are. So a lot of people try to become better, try to become acceptable to God, or try to show something to God, to earn something. But according to what I see in the Word, we need to just realize and believe how much He loves us. So the identity of sonship is imparted, is bestowed upon us when we receive this love that He's given us. So just imagine this, how much He would love us, that He would take sinners, those who were born with a nature completely contrary to Himself, and wash them with His own blood that He shed on the cross, where He suffered all the sin, shame, all the guilt, everything of those people. He washed them with that blood so that they can become sons of God. That is amazing love. So I just want you to recognize this, that He loves you. So He doesn't love you because of what you've done right. He loves you, and He gives His Spirit and His love to you so that you can receive your identity in Christ. He doesn't love you because you didn't do certain things. He loves you, and because of His love coming to you, the sonship comes to you and shines through you. So this is just beautiful to me. What manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Okay. So, in John chapter 1, it speaks of the word. And he says, in the beginning, before all time, was the Word, and the Word was God Himself. Now, in two places in 1 John chapter 4, he says, God is love. So, this Word is the love. And this Spirit, who is Word, who is love, will speak certain words to us. And those words, when we hear and receive it, when it's received in our hearts, causes us to be sons of God. Right. He says, all things were made and came into existence through Him, and without Him was not even one thing made that has come into being. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. All right. Then he says, He came to His own, but His own received Him not, in the King James. Verse 10. He came into the world was made by Him, the world knew Him not. He came unto His own, and His own received Him not. But as to many as received Him, to them gave He power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on His name. Okay? He says, to many as received Him. So He is trying to bestow His love upon anyone who would receive it. As many as received Him and received His advance of love towards us, became sons of God. All right? So in Romans chapter 8, verse 14, it says the following: for all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. So that means all of us who have responded to this love coming to our hearts, receiving Him, and now being moved by Him, are sons of God. So the sons of God, if I look to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 14, I think, yeah. For the love of Christ controls, urges, and impels us, because we are of the opinion and the conviction that if one died for all, then all died. And He died for all, so that all those who live might live no longer to and for themselves, but to and for Him who died and was raised again for their sake. Okay, so this love is shown. In 1 John chapter 4 also says it. The love of Christ is shown where we are concerned, in that God sent His Son to be the propitiation of our sin. So He sowed His Son so that He might receive a harvest of sons. So as He bestowed His love upon us, the seed was sown and the harvest were more sons. So now that we hear the seed word of the love of Christ that was demonstrated on that cross, we receive that sonship and we are sons of God. So a son of God is someone who knows the love of the Father for him. A son of God is someone who knows that he is accepted in Christ. A son of God is someone who is moved by this love of God, moving by the love of Christ, being moved by it and not by other things. A son of God is someone who has realized how much the Father loves him. That is all it takes. All it takes is for us to see who He is and to realize His love for us. He doesn't expect you to change yourself into something better. He doesn't expect you to change yourself into something acceptable. He wants you to receive the love that He gives to you. He wants you to believe what He says about you, how much He loves you. Because of what He has done for you, the price that was paid, because of the blood that was shed before you, on the cross for you, He looks at you and He sees perfection. He looks at you and He sees, wow, you are holy, you are blameless, you are spotless. We need to believe the same about ourselves than what He believes about us. When we believe the same about us than what He believes about us, we start to look like Him. All right? So what does He say? Well, in Song of Solomon is this verse that says, you are, oh my beloved, how beautiful you are. There is no flaw in you. This is what the Spirit of God is saying over you. My beloved, how beautiful you are. There is no flaw in you. Now we hear those words and we think, yes, but didn't you see when I did this, or when I did this, or when I did this, or when I did this? Didn't you see when I messed up, when I lived in shame, where I did all these things? How can you say there's no flaw in me? Is God then diluting the law that He doesn't care about His standards anymore? No, that's not what He's saying. He's saying, did you not see what I did for you? The work that Jesus did for you was so perfect. It quenched all the wrath that was described in the law. It received all the wrath that was to be expressed towards sin. So now that all those things have been finished, that now that the law has been satisfied of the blood, the law cried out for vengeance. Now the law is satisfied because Jesus died and perfect blood flowed. Now that that has happened, there is no more demand for your life because of the sin. What happens now is God is now just bestowing His love upon you. He just wants you to recognize how beautiful you are in His sight. Oh, my beloved, how beautiful you are. There is no flaw in you. This is what the love of God is saying towards you. Forget every flaw. Forget everything that you can see that is wrong. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to measure. Just be overwhelmed by His love for you. Just look to His face and believe Him when He speaks to you and He tells you how much He loves you. He loves you so much that He gave Himself up to save you. Okay? So in Romans chapter 5 he says, it is a great and noble thing for someone to give his life for a noble and generous, wonderful benefactor. You know, someone might even dare to die for a good person. But God clearly proves His love for us in this, that while we were yet sinners, at the fitting time, Christ died for the ungodly. Okay, so He knew everything that we did, but He knew that He had to lay down His life to cleanse us so that we could be accepted, and He wanted that fellowship. He wanted to bestow His love upon us. Okay, and then there's one verse I want to read to you in Ephesians chapter 2. Verse 4 says, "But God, so rich is He in His mercy, because of and in order to satisfy the great and wonderful and intense love with which He loved us. Even when we were dead by our own shortcomings and trespasses, He made us alive together in fellowship and in union with Christ." This is important. Love functions by fellowship. Love functions by relationship. So love looks like something. Love makes the two one. Love brings two together. Love doesn't bring division. Love brings the two together. So love makes God and man one. Love pardons the iniquity. Love, this is what love looks like. He gave His life as a sacrifice, took it up again to save our lives, so that we could be one with Him. So I just want to read this again. Even when we were dead by our own shortcomings and trespasses, He made us alive together in fellowship and in union with Christ. He gave us the very life of Christ Himself, the same new life with which He quickened Him. For it is by grace that you are saved. Okay. And He raised us up together with Him and made us sit down together, giving us joint seating with Him in the heavenly sphere by our virtue of our being in Christ Jesus. Okay. He did this that He might clearly demonstrate through the ages to come the immeasurable, limitless, surpassing riches of His free grace and favor in His kindness and goodness of heart toward us in Christ Jesus. Okay. So we need to understand how He feels about us. If you feel you don't experience God, it is because you don't know how much He loves you. If you feel, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it in life, it is because you don't know how much He loves you. So I just want to put your attention on His love for you. He loves you more than you can imagine. All right. So in 1 John 4 verse 16, he says, that's 5. Yes, verse 16, "And we know and understand the love, know and believe the love that God cherishes for us." So we know and we believe the love that God cherishes for us. Okay? God is love. And he who dwells and continues in love dwells and continues in God, and God dwells and continues in him. In this union, see the fellowship and the oneness there again. In this union and communion with him, love is brought to completion and attains perfection with us, that we may have confidence for the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. Okay, so if I know his love for me, if I believe his love for me, and I enter into this union with him, guess what? All accusation, all judgment that comes falls to the floor. Because I am so permeated with His love. I'm so drenched with His love, satisfied with His love. As He is, so am I. How is He? He is love. So we need to open our hearts and let His love come. Let Him love us. That's what we need to do. We need to spend time and let Him pour His love into our hearts. So this is what I want to encourage you with. The Father loves you. I want you to take your eyes off of what you've done. I want you to take your eyes off of what you think you need to do. And I want you to put your eyes on the cross, where He demonstrated His love, and receive that love continuously. Let that love influence your heart. Let that love be like saturate your heart, so that you can be filled and flooded with God Himself. So may you, like Ephesians chapter 3 says the following, say verse 19, that you may really come to know practically through experience for yourselves the love of Christ, which far surpasses mere knowledge without experience, that you may be filled throughout all your being. That's that saturation, okay? Unto all the fullness of God, and may have the richest measure of the divine presence, and become a body wholly filled and flooded with God Himself. May you be saturated with God. May your soul delight itself in fatness, as Isaiah 55 says. Listen and your soul shall live. So listen and be revived. He loves you. Let your soul delight itself. Let your soul be saturated with this love that He has for you. So I pray that you will experience His love more than anything today and this week, and well, for the rest of your life. That's all we need. So I pray that you will experience His love and be given life, be revived by that love, and may you just be blessed. May you just be overwhelmed with His love and His goodness. So please tell us where you're from, where you're watching us from. Share, like, follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching us from. Please spread the word. But yeah, most of all, experience Jesus and His love for you. So I hope you have an awesome week. Be blessed.